Hey, it's Tuxedo Mark. It's 10:49 a.m. on Sunday, September 26, 2021. And this is my review of the 1960s episode of The Prisoner called Checkmate. I have to make a distinction because there's also an episode of the remake also called Checkmate. I haven't seen the remake yet. Obviously, I want to watch the original series first. But, all right, so let me bring up my chart, my little spreadsheet. Okay, so Checkmate was the third episode produced. It was the 11th episode that was originally scheduled to be broadcast in the UK. And it was the 9th one that was actually broadcast. I've seen it listed in orders ranging from number 3 to number 11. Number 4 seems to be the most common, but I've also seen like 5, 6, and 9 suggested. So, yeah. Okay, this episode actually is number 4 in Patrick McGowan's 7 episodes that count. It's not listed in his alternate 6 of 7 that he mentioned in a 1991 interview. But in the commonly shared, McGowan's 7, it's number 4. So that's the order that I chose to watch it. Okay. So this episode, it starts out with some, commotion outside. Number 6 comes out of his house to look at what's going on, and there is a giant chessboard set up outside, and the villagers are basically playing a game of human chess. Yeah. So there's like a chess master. Hello, Arrow. Thank you for joining me. There's like a chess master. There's 2 guys actually, announcing their moves over bullhorns, and the person in that spot is supposed to move to the spot mentioned. The person mentioned is supposed to move to that spot. Number 6 actually gets drafted at playing the White Queen's pawn, and I noticed a little skip. This is kind of odd. When one guy tells number 6, "You're under the protection of the White Queen," or something like that, there's a very tiny, skip. You could notice their positions change ever so slightly. I'm wondering if it was edited that way, like if they cut out a flub like that and hope no one would notice, or if it's like some kind of encoding error. I don't know. But I just wanted to point that out. Anyway, number 6 has to be told to move because he's like, he finally gets into the game. But anyway, there's a rook that makes a move on his own without being told. And so he's taken away to a hospital because, individual thoughts are forbidden. So he's taken to be conditioned and everything like that. Later on, number 6 speaks to the chess master, who tells him you can tell who is a ward and who is like a captive or a prisoner by the way that they behave and stuff like that. So number 6 gets an idea to try to figure out who are the wards, not the wards, who are the wards and who are the prisoners, and which prisoners have enough individual thought that maybe he could recruit them into an escape attempt. He's taken to a hospital to observe the Rook. Like number 2 offers to take him to a hospital to observe the Rook, and he readily agrees. He gets in a taxi and goes to a hospital. The Rook is given this weird treatment or series of tests to try to make sure that he conforms. There are different colored water coolers, and he wants to drink water, but he's specifically told to use the blue water cooler. And if he uses a water cooler of a different color, he gets an electric shock. Eventually, he uses the blue water cooler, and he gets rewarded with water. And now, like, number 6 is like, you must be so very proud of yourself. It's interesting there's a female doctor in this episode, but it's treated like she's always been there, which I guess is true, but I don't recall seeing her before. Let's see. Number 6 believes he can get the Rook to help him in this escape attempt. And he kind of picks up on a few other villagers also that he thinks he can trust. Their plan is to steal and pilfer electronic parts from various devices and create like a transistor radio so they can contact someone in the outside world for help. Like they use a phone from the village, and they use like an antenna from one of the taxis or something. I don't know. They put it together inside a tent on the beach because apparently, you know, the residents of the village can go out to the beach, but like number 6 and the Rook meet inside a tent, and you know the Rook's building the radio. Meanwhile, the White Queen is trying to like befriend number 6, but he doesn't trust her. She seems to have romantic feelings for him. She's like, why do you want to leave? We could be so happy here together, but he won't have it. There's a HUD chase sequence where he steals a taxi and she steals another one. She's chasing him all over the village grounds. He picks up the Rook, and I guess they're on their mission to do stuff, and they evade her. And someone asks number 2, do you want us to stop them? And he's like, not yet. Let's see where this goes. There's this one part where he has the audio turn on the cameras so he can listen in on a conversation that number 6 is having with the Rook, because you know number 6 is questioning the Rook about all these things and how to escape and what they can do. But when the audio turns on and number 2 is listening in, they're suddenly just discussing chess strategy. So I'm wondering if that was just a huge coincidence, like if number 6 was just really lucky, or if he somehow knew when number 2 would be listening in and decided that they better talk about something else. I don't know. So at night, number 6 sends the Rook out on a life raft and tells him to keep transmitting. And they send out a distress signal pretending that there's surviving passengers from a downed aircraft. And number 6 is crumpling paper to like mimic static so that he can avoid having to try to give precise coordinates because he doesn't know them, obviously. So, but they're sending a rescue boat or something. So number 6 has to stall until it's time. But eventually he finds the raft, but no Rook. Like it's like the raft's been abandoned or something. So he goes out on the raft. He goes out to the boat.
There are two guys there, and they help him onto the boat. But then it turns out there's a TV transmission from number two, and the boat is their property. And he reveals the Rook is back with him at his command center. The Rook had basically mistaken number six's initiative in wanting to escape and his resolve as thinking number six is actually one of them, and that this was all a test of the Rook's loyalty. So the Rook reported everything to number two. So yeah, the boat belongs to them, but number six thinks, hey, maybe I can still make use of this. He beats up the other guys and he wants to take control of the boat, except the controls won't respond now. And then number two brings up one of those big white balloons, the rovers, out of the water. And number six has this look on his face like, oh, crap. We don't see the balloon attack him. That's where the episode ends. But, yeah, he got played. He was a pawn. Yeah, so I get it. So, yeah, another escape attempt thwarted. What else was in this episode that I should talk about? I mean, I'm not familiar with chess, really. I don't know, like, all of the symbolism that this is supposed to represent, but I think I basically got the main points. Obviously, the White Queen was in on it as well. The Rook seems so distraught when number two reveals everything to him at the end, and he's like, "You mean he really was a prisoner?" So the Rook realizes he betrayed number six for nothing. Number six wasn't working for them. Yeah. Or maybe all of that was just for show as well. Who knows? Maybe it's all a show for number six's benefit. But there are a large number of scenes in this episode that occur outside number six's presence. So that's why I don't buy the theory that this is all his delirium and his dying moments. Because why would he dream or hallucinate sequences of other characters talking about stuff that he isn't aware of? That seems so odd. Anyway, so yeah, now next I have only one more episode left in McGowan's 7 until the two-part series finale. So after the next episode, there's just gonna be all of the so-called filler episodes that don't count. I'm still gonna watch them, obviously. But anyway. About the intro sequence after the theme song, we see an insert shot of the new number two, and he introduces himself as the new number two. It's the number two from this episode, but I don't think it's his voice. I think it's the same voice that we heard back in Free for All. I think there's like one actor that like does the number two voice in these introduction sequences, and the number two actors of the episode are lip syncing to it, or something like that. Like maybe they're overdubbing it with the standard narrative number two voice. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, I guess I have nothing else to say about this episode. Yeah, I watched it last night. But then I watched an episode of Swan's Crossing afterwards, and then I was just too tired to share my thoughts. I would have been all groggy and half asleep in the video. So that's why I waited until today to talk about it. But I'm going to watch another episode later today, and obviously I'm going to make a video about that as well. But yeah, so I am now over a fifth of the way through the series. And yeah, okay, so that's it. Thanks for joining me. And oh, hey, I'm too bored. I'm just about to end the video actually. But thanks for joining me. Anyway, so yeah, it's 11:05 a.m. and that's it. Thanks for watching.